my name is Xixing Xu. I am originally from Beijing, China, and I'm currently based in Brooklyn, New York. I graduated from Vassar College in upstate New York in 2018 with a degree in media studies. And since then, I've been working as an artist as well as in different roles within the art industry. Sculptures and writings are my two major mediums. And then I also often use printmaking as what I call a connector medium in between. With sculptures and text, I usually consider them as a duo that together become a container for narrative and for storytelling, which means that the spatial construct of the sculpture and then the temporal narrative of a story, they inhabit a single time space of one narrative. And then for these narratives, I usually adopt a set of 9 characters. And then with each work, I work in a very material non-specific manner. The materials that I would adopt for the sculpture would usually vary based on how the work is started. And then the material choice is usually decided during this process of conceptual development. With these narratives that I create with sculptures, writings, and prints, they usually began with my own encounters with the infraordinary, which is a term coined by George Perec. Or in other words, I'm usually fascinated by some of my encounters with the most banal, the most periphery things that happen in reality. And then some of the examples include, for example, a steel door with a specific design, a friendship that didn't end up continuing, or a message that's tucked behind the cover of a book. And then I'm interested in these insignificant things precisely because, in a way, that their banality helps them to become unattached to a lot of the default narratives, be them cultural, political, social, ideological, or even like linguistic narratives. And then with that reason, they sort of open up the space for me to generate new imaginations around them, and then to rethink the relationship between individual subjects, that is me, and the relationship with the world that we inhabit. This project that I'm currently working on, it starts with another chance encounter between 2 Super 8 film reels. One of them is actually shot by me during my trip to Berlin in the December of 2019, which also was my last pre-COVID trip. I found the Super 8 camera in a flea market and then just started making a travelogue on my own. And then in 2020, when I went back to China, I sent the film to a lab for it to be developed and digitized. And when the lab sent me back the actual reel, it turned out to be someone else's. And then this other film reel that's sent to me by mistake, I ended up also developing it and digitizing it, only to find out that it's also a travelogue shot by a stranger in my hometown, Beijing. I become very fascinated by this very coincidence. And then with the standard format of Super 8 films, meaning that these 2 travelogues, despite their different locations and contents, they have the same amount of frames, the same length, and then they also share this kind of like inherent desire to document movement. By using these 2 films as a starter or a source material, I began researching the history of travel, especially leisure tourism within China. And I've set this specific time frame of the early modern period, which is a period of time when China first underwent colonialism. But at the same time, it was the time when it was first exposed to a world outside of its own, which becomes a fascinating period that can be used as a way to rethink the relationship between cultures, between East and West, between self and other. And then in tandem with this research, I'm also creating these dry point prints using transparent film as the plates. I'm directly etching, I mean, not really etching, I'm directly engraving onto the transparent films with certain diagrams and writings, and then these marks will be printed onto prints of certain frames that's taken from the film. And then the final goal of the project is to create a sculptural installation that incorporates this research, writing, as well as print.